love our smartwatches. Do you know where all that data goes? Many of us have turned to apps to monitor our health, even to help us stick to our resolutions. But many of these apps actively collect sensitive personal information with little regard to our privacy. Randy Pargman, former computer scientist for the FBI and now vice president of Binary Defense, joins me. I am so glad we're sitting down and having this talk today because it is a big deal. I just need to know, before we even jump into this, what are some of the potential risks of using these apps and that information getting out there to hackers?
I think it's important for everyone to take stock of what could happen to their information if it was released to the wrong people.
Yeah.
But also balance that carefully against the benefits that you get from the app, because if you approach everything with a sense of fear, then you might not use those things that could really benefit you.
That could help you.
Yeah, but having an accurate picture of what the risk is really important. So it could be anything from your personal sensitive data being sold to advertisers who then want to market you products, which may or may not be a concern for some people.
Right.
It could go to insurance companies that might use that as part of their decision for increasing your premiums.
Like my personal premium?
It could be.
Like they can actually be like, Amity wrote in her app today that she was feeling a little crazy, and then they're going to be like, no, we don't know. I mean, like they can find out my personal.
It depends on the privacy policies of the app, and that's why you need to do your research and figure out what are you agreeing to when you check the little box that says, sure, I agree, you can share my information with these other people.
Okay.
But I think the most concerning thing, and this has happened in the past, is when hackers get access to the information that's stored on the servers, and then they use that to intimidate and extort people, trying to get money, trying to get extortion payments out of them in return for the promise of not releasing their sensitive information.
Like real life, this has happened?
This has. A couple of years ago in 2020, a company called Vestamo in Finland had a data breach where hackers retrieved the mental health counseling records between patients and their counselors. This revealed really intimate details of thoughts, things that people had done in the past that they talked to their counselor about. And then the hacker actually approached not only the company, but the individual patients. They wrote to them directly and said, we know this about your counseling sessions. We'll release it publicly if you don't pay us money. That's kind of the worst
evil.
case. It
and that
really
was
is
through
evil.
an app that these people were using?
So that wasn't through an app, but that was digital records
And
that were stored on a server.
it could happen with these apps.
Exactly.
Okay,
It's the same type of servers.
That is good to know. So how, you were mentioning that there are servers. So that's how these apps store a lot of our personal data. They're just like, they create the app, but then they send it to this giant data storage.
Yeah, exactly. It's really confusing because when you're using an app, it seems like all the data is there on your phone, right?
Yeah.
That's how you access it all.
Right.
But a quick way that I usually use to check if an app is storing data online is if I can access that same data signing in over the computer or from a different phone, or if I delete the app and then reinstall it, is all my data still there? It's definitely on a server then, not on your phone.
Yeah.
That's the usual case. Usually your data is stored somewhere else.
So, okay, when we've all just blindly signed terms and conditions before, and if you're the only one out there, it's like, nope, I read every word, then like my hat's off to you. But for the most of us, we have agreed, yes, 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 I agree. Are there any, I don't know, red flags or glaringly obvious things that we should look for or be aware of when it comes to security policy in these apps?
Yes, absolutely. The problem, just as you mentioned, is it's so difficult to read those privacy policies. I myself am very concerned about these, and I read the privacy policies, and it's painful, especially on the phone when the text is so small.
Yeah.
And even if you can understand all of the language, usually the policies are written to protect the company, not the user or the consumer. So a resource that I really recommend is the Mozilla Foundation. It's a nonprofit, and they publish a report called Privacy Not Included. And you can search for that really easily. You can look for any app that you're thinking about installing, or maybe one that you already use, and they will highlight for you the concerns in the privacy policy, compare them to other companies. They'll raise red flags for you. Some of those red flags might be the inability to delete your data if you're done. If the company doesn't have a policy that allows you to request all of your data be deleted, they might just hold on to it forever. Another big red flag is their policy on sharing with third parties. If they are not explicit about how they share, they might share it with anyone, and it could be an insurance company, it could be advertisers most likely, because that's how they can make money. If you're not paying for the app, they have to make money somehow, and they're probably doing it by selling your information.
That's a good point. So I've had an app I've used for years, and I have been putting so much information on it, and they're just giving it away. I mean, it's unreal. What if you were mentioning it's on server, so I guess deleting the app, just deleting it isn't going to get rid of anything, right?
Usually not.
Okay.
Usually you have to make some kind of a request of the company in order for your data to be deleted. And then it's important to understand the privacy policy, if they guarantee that it will be, and how long it will take them to do that.
We only have 30 seconds left, but can you just give us some general do's and don'ts for protecting our digital footprint?
Absolutely. I think the thing that you can take the most control over is what data do you share. Think about it before you put into the app. Some information is more sensitive to you than other things might be. The other is protect your password. This is a way that people can access your account in particular.
Yeah.
And I use a password manager to keep those for me.
The password manager, not just your notes in your iPhone?
Yeah, definitely not.
So that's something I should definitely not do anymore.
I'd say not.
I'm going to move that like in the commercial break. All right, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's been so educational and informational. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks so much.